suddenly I'm being looked at as a bad guy, and by someone that I really looked up to. So it hurt. It still does. Just talking about it, it doesn't make me feel good. Believe it or not, I have feelings and emotions, and I want to tell you a sad story that actually hurt my feelings. And hopefully there's a lesson in all of this, and hopefully it motivates you. It doesn't just make you too sad. And it's about the long term. A lot of us are struggling right now and dealing with the frustrations of just trying to get our career started, trying to get people to believe in us. And a lot of us are trying to form teams. Whether we're producers, whether we're songwriters, whether we're recording artists, we're trying to form teams, we're trying to find teams, we're trying to find people who are like-minded, we're trying to work with people because we feel as though, two heads are better than one, four heads are better than two, and so forth. And I've always been one who has asserted that artists don't need teams, at least certainly not early on, to be successful. That's an argument I've had. I've debated people, and I'm sticking to that. I'm sticking to that because it's something that I've experienced, and let me just tell you a story. So I'm just gonna come out and say I had a lot of fear associated with my personality, associated with my social anxiety, associated with my depression. I didn't want to be out there. I didn't want to be central to my brand or any brand. And so what did I do? I linked up with people who had more aggressive personalities, more charisma, better social skills. Ironically, a lot of those people ended up burning a ton of bridges, and I'll kind of get to that. But I felt like I had to align myself with them and start something with them, start a team with them, because me by myself, I couldn't get in the right spaces that I wanted to get. I couldn't work with people. I didn't feel like my personality was strong enough to make that happen. So anyway, I get in all of these team situations, and some of them are groups, some of them are labels, some of them are collectives. And I find that out of everybody involved, I'm the only one who really is serious about pursuing music as a career. Funny enough, this was back before I even thought I could, build a music career. But just, the day-to-day grudgery of being in a group, of marketing. I was the guy that learned how to market if I had a question, and then I'd ask other people to work on this marketing plan with me, and none of them would do it. It would, simple task. I'd say, hey, let's make new friends on MySpace. Here's our goal for the week. And I'd show up to the meetings and no one would have done it. Or, hey, we need to research merchandising options and costs, and so we can all compare and figure out what the best situation is for us. Come to the meeting, no one had done it. And the more I was learning, the more work I was taking on for these teams. I learned how to do graphics. I learned a little bit about video. I learned a little bit about web design. I learned a little bit about marketing. I learned a little bit about this. I was DJing, I was producing. So suddenly the tasks are adding up, and I'm doing all this work because other people don't want to take the time to learn, and they're seeing me learn, so they're dumping it all on me. Eventually, 2008 rolls around. Cat break. Oh, you look good on this camera. 2008 rolls around. Some of you might know what that means. That was my year. That was my entry into the music business. That's when I got a record on a beat on the #1 selling album. Things started accelerating from there. I felt legitimized. I felt like I could pursue music as a career. That's something I hadn't felt, previously. I wanted it. It was kind of subconscious, in the back of my mind, but now it was real. The people around me were happy for me, but within a month there was resentment. I remember, and this honestly hurt me because the guy who managed our group was actually, I hate talking about this, was actually a mentor of mine from when I was young. A teenager. And he was, basically, his position was basically, why didn't I get other members of the group the same opportunities that I got for myself? It was like I was being punished for doing what I always wanted to do. I always wanted to produce for a big record. I always wanted to get recognition. I always wanted people to hear my music. I wanted to feel validated, and suddenly I was getting it. And the focus wasn't on my success, congratulating me and seeing how the group could take advantage of that, seeing what I could teach the group, seeing what we could accomplish together. It was like I was disloyal because I got this for myself. I didn't intentionally get it for myself. I mean, I was just working and doing everything I could for myself, for the group. I mean, I'm working my ass off just to try to get opportunities for the group and contribute. And like I said, I was doing everything: graphic design, I was producing, I was engineering, I was connecting all these dots. And on top of it, now the second something positive happens, the second I get something positive that I can take ownership and I can be proud of, and that obviously I'm trying to spread to the rest of the group members, suddenly I'm being looked at as a bad guy, and by someone that I really looked up to. So it hurt, it still does. Just talking about it, it doesn't make me feel good. And so I learned an important lesson, and I started cutting people off because of things like that. I was in another group with somebody who some weird stuff went down with, that I'm not going to get into, but that group disbanded. That was like one of 3 or 4 groups that disbanded. The one group that I was in for a really long time, that person unfortunately had a drug addiction, and all of the really negative things that he was doing affected me, because he was stealing money, he was screwing people over, that kind of thing. And it took me years just to shake the stigma of being associated with him. So once I had kind of cut all ties, and I'm not saying go cut people off, but these were obviously really harmful situations, and I had to get out of them. I didn't have a choice. It's like somebody holding a grenade, pulling the pin out, and just standing there. Do you want to stand by that person once the grenade detonates? No. So I got the hell out. I had to kind of do my solo thing for a while. Obviously, there were a whole bunch of people along the way that I worked with, people I still work with to this day. I mean, people like Mike Trampy, people like Shaw, people like, Memory, obviously, he's been with me since day one. Jay Hatch is somebody that I've known forever. Ooh, my cat is making a fuss. Oh, you're stuck. All right, we're gonna handle that in a minute. I gotta clip her nails. It was never this formal team situation. Now, obviously, I'm part of teams. I'm repping MEC with this hat, which is a dope hat. Shout out to Damon Cato. But let me explain. So once I built myself up, once I built my own brand up, and I learned so much over a period of 8 to 10 years, and about the business, about myself, about all I had to contribute. My value. Now I'm seeing my value. Now I'm not looking at my life and saying I need somebody else. I need to be a part of a team to be valuable. I need to be a part of a team to be successful. I'm looking at myself as having a lot more power than I originally gave myself credit. Now that I'm doing all of that, I'm attracting people who are like-minded, who are equally motivated, who contribute, who are respectful. People who I can look at and say, wow, they're working hard. I see it. I see their accomplishments. I don't know if this is public information, but I started a group with Dream Life, Memory, and Stack Trace. And we're working, we work all the time. We love making music. We trust each other. It's a collective situation. Obviously, MEC is a team effort. Obviously, I'm in a group with Soul and DJ Pain 1. His work ethic is undeniable. He's been at the forefront of independent hip hop since as long as I can remember. I was a huge fan, and now I'm a collaborator. If it feels like right now you're just not finding the right people, or people are taking advantage of you, people are mistreating you, people aren't respecting you, that's not because of you. That's because of them. They're not mistreating you because there's something wrong with you. They're mistreating you because they haven't figured something out about themselves. Maybe they never will, but it's not your fault. And the only thing you can do is respect yourself. The only thing you can do is foster respect in yourself. It's not easy. It doesn't happen overnight. But if a team situation isn't working out for you, trust me, you don't need that. You can go out, make your own mistakes, make your own successes, and you own both. That's the beautiful thing about it. And it's like a relationship. Once you value yourself and love yourself, you know what kinds of people to accept into your life. You know what kinds of people to collaborate with. You know what kinds of people to take a step beyond collaboration and actually form teams, groups, collectives with. Because without that experience, you might be naive like I was, and think that you don't have value as an individual, and you do. It just takes time to develop that. It takes time to figure that out. And some of you get lucky. Some of you are around people that are great, respectful, and you stick with those people. But for those of you who aren't there yet, I'm telling you, it does get better, and the power comes from within you to deal with that and to keep things into perspective. It took me about a decade to start forming groups and teams that I was really involved in. It might take you that long. It might take you longer, but it's worth it. And that's why I say you don't need a team. I'm not anti-team. I'm just in favor of you figuring things out for yourself, so that when you actually do cross paths with people who have good intentions, who have a similar work ethic, a similar set of principles and morals as you know how to identify them. You know that this is the person that you can work with, and you can discern between the people that are going to bring you harm and frustration and the people that are going to bring you respect and progress. Much success to you. Peace.